Hey guys, it's Zach here from Kubota Lynchburg, and today I'm going to do a brief orientation video. If you got a new RTV series, we're going to go over some of those features and service points on a new RTV. What we're going to do is we're going to start at the front today. We're going to start on the front of the machine, work our way back with some of the features and the points. And now every RTV is going to be a little different. This is a 4-seater, so I can show you some of those. We'll take a real quick look at an X900, one of the 2-seater options. If you have a cab, there's all the AC systems and cooling and heating systems you got to look at. But a lot of the overall features and service points are going to be very similar on the Kubota diesel series. So first thing first, we've got our brush guard here. It is a nice heavy-duty brush guard. You accidentally run into a tree and a fence line or something like that, or you're just pushing over saplings, this will take out that damage. On the front of the brush guard here, you're going to have a 2-inch receiver. So you can put a ball hitch into here and you can haul things such as, pulling trailers with it, or you can mount things like spreaders. You also already have the holes and everything drilled out for a winch mount on it, so you could put a winch on the front, so you could run things like a snow blade. There's also a mid-PTO kit. You could run snow blowers and brooms and snow blades off the front of that as well. This is a good tie-down point on this section, or a good place to put a 2-inch hitch and a winch. Right here is where our hood unlatch is, so if we pull that little lever, our hood is going to come up and going to unlatch. Under here we have a couple of basic things like you would see in your car. You've got a coolant reservoir, you have a brake fluid reservoir, and then you have a couple things that as you're going through those fields with a whole bunch of grass and debris and seeds, you actually have little screens that protect your coolant, your radiators in here. So this cooler right here at the front, this is for your hydraulic oil. This is actually going to cool your hydraulic oil, where this is, your actual engine oil coolant and everything like that system here. But if you start overheating, you start losing power, the first thing you're going to want to do is look at these screens, brush the seeds and the grass off of them, and put them back in, and so it's easier to keep your unit clean. I would check that every couple times you use the machine. It's easy enough to pop the hood and say, all right, they're clean, they're good to go. You've got, your overall, your cap right there to fill things back up on. You do have your air filter here, so you can pop your holders off your air filter. If, again, you're losing power, you can get your air filter underneath this. I would recommend blowing that out and cleaning that out every 50 to 100 hours, if not more than that. If you think about it, the cleaner you keep that, the better your engine and your RTV is going to run. Then you just got to latch it back in. You do have an air intake and everything like that here as well. So that's about it for underneath the hood. Nothing fancy. There's no storage or anything really underneath here. Unfortunately, I wish there was a little bit more storage on these. Halogen lights, you could upgrade to LEDs. I always recommend LED light bars on these RTVs, but they're just standard halogens. So if we kind of go then into the operator station, the operator area. Oh, actually, one last point I wanted to check on. It's not very well known, but right here on the center, there is your front axle. There's a dipstick right there to check your front axle fluid. So it's not very well known. I actually didn't know about it for a long time. And then I realized, hey, that's there. So that just takes the same transmission and hydraulic fluid that the rest of the machine does. We'll go into the operator station, then we'll real quick get back to some of the service points on it. You do have your nice seats here. They usually, unless it's a general purpose model, have this slide system. So if you're very short, like the camera person is, you could actually use this. If you are over 6'2", 6'3", these start to get a little bit cramped. That's the downside. Is I'm 5'11", and it's pretty comfortable for me. But add another 3-4 inches, and yeah, it's not going to be the most comfortable thing. I have some 6'8" clients and customers who have these. Not too bad, but this is going to be a 2-range hydrostatic transmission. This is a hydrostatic drive, which means there's no overall speed to it, and very, very slow. Max you're ever going to hit in one of these is 23 to 25 miles per hour if you're lucky, but it has a lot of power and durability to it. So I'm going to take control of the camera real quick, show you guys some of the controls and the features. So right here, the nice thing about it, if it's not a general purpose, is you do have a tilt steering column. Let me move it with my knee. This will, if I'm holding this lever, you can actually tilt the steering column up and down. It's hard to do with one hand. You have your ranges here, so you have a high and a low and a reverse. Now on a brand new RTV, and after for a while, these sometimes get sticky where it won't slide right into gear right away. like that, it's not actually hitting full reverse. I might have to either harder or tap the accelerator pedal to get it to slide into range. That is very, very, very common on RTVs. You do need to kind of work with it, and it'll wear its way in. You'll get used to, I know it's frustrating the first couple times you use it, but you'll get used to kind of holding this against to where it's getting stuck, tapping on your accelerator pedal, and then it will slide itself into gear. That is normal. Don't worry about it. That's standard. You'll get used to it. Parking brake is here. Pull back, put some pressure against it, push in the button with your thumb right there, and that is taking your parking brake off, and then setting your parking brake again. You do have some switches if you were to put LEDs in or winches and stuff. They've got the cutouts already there. This is your nice crystal display. There's some kind of term for it, and it'll tell you all sorts of things, like it'll tell you that your parking brake is on. If I took that off, parking brake is off. It'll tell you, if you got the glow plugs glowing, you can turn on your glow plugs with the key. I recommend doing that for at least 5 seconds before starting the RTV. It helps it start a lot easier. If you put turn signals on, it would have a turn signal kit that would associate to that. This is your 4-wheel drive versus 2-wheel drive lever, so pull back to 2-wheel drive, push forward for 4-wheel drive. This is also a little sticky sometimes, and you might have to shift the RTV forward or back a little bit. So right now I'm putting a decent amount of pressure and it's not going. That is normal as it wears in as well. You have a glove box here. Keep your storage in. You do have some storage underneath the seats. So if I were to pick up the passenger seat, there's plenty of storage there. And if I were to pick up the driver's seat, there's also storage there. So driver's seat flips forward like this. The other controls I'm going to show real quick are going to be these right here. This is going to be raising and lowering your hydraulic dump bed, so I'll turn it on real quick and have it do that. You do have to be in neutral to turn it on. Pull this lever up to dump your bed. Push it down. And it does have a float function. So if for some reason your RTV is dead in the water and you can't turn it on, you can push this all the way down, and then you can come back here and you can raise and lower, if you're strong enough, by hand in case it gets stuck. So you do have that float function. That's a lot easier on a 2-seater model where you don't have all the extra weight of the bed sitting right there. You can also lock it, take it out of float. You can lock it so you can't accidentally dump or move it. So that's your overall operational controls. We'll go back to the service side real quick. I'm going to flip the seats forward. Oh, the other thing I didn't touch on, you do have a differential pedal here, so this is going to lock your rear tires to spin together. Let's say you're stuck in mud, snow, or something like that. You can push down with your heel on this, and it'll lock those rear tires to spin together. You'll get more power, better traction, and you can lock it into place by pushing it down, pulling up, and letting go. You can see this little knob stays up. It means your differential is locked into place. Hit your pedal again, and it pops right off, so it is easy to use that. Again, keep in mind these are not fast vehicles. I always tell people they are not designed for speed, but they are a heavy-duty, very durable workhorse. This section will actually pop out. Your storage section will pop out. And the reason I'm doing that is because underneath this little rubber grommet is an extra hydraulic reservoir tank. This actually kind of takes care of your power steering and everything. So if you're losing some power steering, you're losing overall power, make sure that you remember that there's an extra hydraulic reservoir here underneath the passenger seat that you need to check. A lot of people just do the one in the back for the transmission, and they don't remember to check this. And you do need to check that every once in a while, make sure none of it's burned out or used. You also have a little bit of access point down there if you ever needed to get underneath another little rubber grommet. I've never used that section before though, so don't know why you would need it. I'm sure there's a reason it's there. Don't ask me why. This will pop out as well, and you can get to some of your service points underneath. You can get to some of your hoses and your cables and everything like that for your 4-wheel drive versus 2-wheel drive if it ends up getting locked in. Then your storage can go right back in place. And your seats can come back down and you're ready to roll. Now, in a 4-seater, I'm going to real quick show how the 4-seater model works. If it's in this position, you're going to flip this seat up. There's a little latch that you're actually going to unlock on this side. this knob right here you can pull, and it's going to unlock this system. You can grab this grab handle. You're going to swing this forward. It's going to sit against the bracket there. These rubber straps are designed to lock into here, and it keeps the vibrations down. That's all it's really there for, is so it doesn't vibrate and make extra noise or wear anything extra. It's just keeping pressure against it. And before I put the rest of the bed down, I'll show you guys another service point. Underneath this is your battery, so if you ever need to jump it, you can loosen these knobs, take it off, and you can jump it. There's your battery access. And if I were to pick up on this, you have access to your engine. So here you've got where you add your engine oil to it. You'll have your engine, dipstick and everything like that to it. Back here, that yellow cap will be your adding your transmission fluid. That is your majority of where you're going to check your transmission fluid. And you can also see some grease points and pivot points that you need to keep well greased. Most of the grease points are going to be either right there or on your A-frame arms on all 4 tires to where those are articulating up and down. So, engine oil is just basically 10W30, and your hydraulic fluid is going to be the Kubota Super UDT. So that's how you access this on a 4-seater. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to make sure that these handles are latched into the front portion, one on each side. This is going to, watch your fingers, but this is going to come down. It's going to set right there. Flip this piece up, pull these out. It's going to latch in here, and you're now in a 4-seater. So, or you're in a larger bed. You'd go from 4-seat to 2-seat. With 2 people, you can do it in about 8 seconds. With 1 person, you got to go back and forth twice from either side. Really not that bad. It's still very easy to do, and you can dump the whole bed at this point, which I'll do just to show you guys. And now you have access to everything. There is a grease point on that hydraulic cylinder for when you're dumping the bed, so you don't want to make sure that that is kept well greased. So keep that greased, and that'll be easy to use. And then we're going to show you guys on a 2-seater some of those things, and show you guys the rear 3-point. So on a 2-seater, it's basically the exact same setup. You have your front bumper, all the front coolants, same storage, same access under the seats. The only difference really is going to be how you access your transmission engine oil, because you don't have it underneath that rear set of seats. So I'm going to go ahead and dump the bed on this one real quick. If you want to come around, you can take a look at this one. While I'm doing this, I'm letting the glow plugs hit for a couple seconds. Your tire pressure is supposed to be around 20 PSI. That will affect your ride. Don't let it get too high because it won't ride smoothly if you have too much pressure in there. So make sure you don't have too much pressure in your tires. You can get larger tires for these, 27-inch instead of the 25-inch standard. You get a little bit more lift height out of it. So on this one, everything is very easy access underneath. Once again, you can check your hydraulic oil there. Keep your pivot points well greased. Check, add your engine oil right there. Keep that hydraulic cylinder on the dump bed greased as well. Just overall very easy access to everything. On that side, you've got your fuel tank. It holds right about 8 gallons of diesel, so easy to add to there. And the last thing I'm going to show is on the rear of these, the transmission of these. You have your transmission filters on the back side here. You've got 2 of them. You don't change those till, well, I actually recommend changing them at the 50-hour interval, and then every 200 hours after that for both of those filters. And then if you go way down low, you'll see that hidden up underneath is another 2-inch receiver here. I recommend getting a hitch receiver extension so it's easier to get to. They sell 6-inch hitch extensions on Amazon for like $20. It's well worth it, and it'll make it a lot easier access to it. But your rear suspension, they have grease points everywhere. This is a fully independent suspension machine, which means it's very comfortable, very capable, but keep it well greased so they don't wear. But I've seen these RTVs, they've been making them since 2004. We see them from 2004 still working and running like the day they were made. They're heavy-duty workhorses. So in your beds, you've got some tie-down points. Very easy access there. But again, heavy, durable machine. Do your 50-hour break-in service, change your engine oil, your hydraulic filters, those 2 on the rear, and your engine oil filter all at 50 hours. And then you get to push it off every 200 hours after that. You can then service your machine, but keep it well greased in the meantime. So that's kind of your maintenance points on it, some of the features and usability. Of course, if you have any specific questions, concerns about your RTV, other than it doesn't go fast, because that's the #1 one I hear, leave us a comment, let us know, I'll be happy to answer.